Hey guys, it's Donnie B, and you're listening to episode 27 of Eat It Up, Buffalo Eats podcast, and a very proud member of Audio Buffalo. Today on the show we have Chef Steve Gedra, who is the co-owner and head chef of Bistro Europa, located over on Elmwood Avenue. We had him in the podcast to talk about what he's doing in that kitchen, because over the last couple of years he's really turned that place around into one of Buffalo's best restaurants, and it even was nominated or voted as number 2 in Western New York on the Channel 2 panel that I was on back in May. And it's well deserving, because he's doing some really creative things, especially with his wife Ellen, who's in charge of all the desserts and bread making and things like that. And, they just have a really fun time with food, and even though they are, they put a lot of hard work into that place, everything has like a fun atmosphere, and it's not very all stuffy and anything like that. They have a really fun time, and it's really loose, and it's if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't, you need to go there, because they're doing some fantastic work. So Steve is also just an awesome guy. He's really fun, and so it was a pleasure to have him down here and record this thing. So, and he's a fellow Orchard Park alumni, so gotta represent. We hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and as always,
I guess going way back, I started washing dishes at Eccles.
Oh, Eccles.
That was my first job ever. I was like 13 or 14, something like that.
Youngest person in there by 50 years?
No, it was me and all my buddies. So,
okay.
We were all just retards back there. I remember I saw one of my friends, we threw out a whole bunch of silverware one night because I didn't feel like doing it, and the old man busted us. And I totally forgot about that. And he just reminded me, so that's a nice little anecdote to throw in there. And then I went to Capelli's, which you're also familiar with, so I grew up in Orchard Park. And then after high school, I moved to Vermont, and I was prep cooking, doing pizzas and stuff in Stowe, and also washing dishes at night, so doing 2 jobs, just trying to, I was 17, just trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then I came back, worked at Capelli's again, and then went to Pearl Street and opened it, as a busboy, and then got in the kitchen. Then I went to Mother's, and then Park Lane, then I moved to Boston, and then Nantucket, then Vail, then Nantucket, then Santa Fe, then Nantucket, then Boston, now here.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
That's insane.
Yeah, it was quite the gypsy lifestyle for a couple years. We moved 14 times in 2 years at one point. That was pretty nuts.
Damn.
Yeah,
wow.
But it was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
But it got old. Just trying to move all the time with 3 cats and
3 cats.
Yeah, Ellen after a while was like, "We're done."
Was your wife with you for most of this?
Yeah, for all of it.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
we've been together since 03, so
nice.
We started moving around 05. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. So that's about it.
When did you make the transition from working because it was a job to working in restaurants because you really enjoyed it?
I always liked it. I think the washing dishes part sucks, but if you own a restaurant, you better be ready to wash dishes because it's probably going to happen. But
do you still find yourself washing?
Oh yeah. A couple months ago, we had a problem with one of our guys, and he called me about 5 minutes before he was supposed to be there, so I had to jump in. And I'd been there since 8 a.m., and I had to close it up till 12 o'clock or whatever. But it was kind of fun because you're just blasting out dishes. You don't have to think about anything or worry about cooking anything. You get a system going, and you just jam it out. So it's not bad. But after that, when I was making pizzas at Capelli's, I started getting into it. Yeah. And I think I told my mom I want to run a pizzeria at one point, just because Capelli's was good back then, and you're making money. So
dude, you see the owners of Capelli's
and
Rick's,
he's pimping. They're pimping.
They're
it's crazy driving Escalades and stuff.
Yeah, we were Rick's kids. There's that divide.
Oh yeah,
of
Orchard
course. Park.
Of course. Yeah. So I think I just always been into it. And then my sister, who owns Nickel City Cheese, she went to culinary school, and I went up to Necky and saw her graduation, all that stuff, and she's taking me around all these kitchens, and I just thought it was so cool. So I kind of got on the path about then. It was about 15 or 16, really.
Really?
Yep.
Did you go to culinary school or no? It's
nope.
You just worked your way up from.
Yeah, because I just I didn't have any money, and
yeah.
A lot of kids, they go to culinary school, and you get out, and you're still getting paid
oh yeah, nothing,
and trying to work in these big cities. I figured I would just learn on the job, and I'd be fine.
Yeah.
So I kind of took that angle.
Was the moving around just kind of like slowly progressing up the ladder, I guess? Or
Well, I mean, the move to Boston initially, from Buffalo to Boston was because, I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, like, I got to go to a big city and, like, get my bones roasted or,
Yeah.
So, but the move out to Vail was just kind of for fun. Nantucket was a private chef gig, and that was seasonal, so we knew we were going to keep doing that for a couple years.
Yeah.
And that was only in the summer.
Oh, okay, so that's kind of why...
Right. So, like, I looked at Ellen in July of '05, and I was like, hey, you want to move to Colorado? Because I always wanted to go there. And she's like, sure. And I'm like, I love you. So we just packed it up and headed out,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But we stayed in Boston for a while, and then, Rochester with her parents, my parents in Buffalo, and then headed out. And we did that back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the season didn't start out there till, like, November. And we had tons of cash from being private chefs, so why not?
It does seem like that's a pretty lucrative field.
Yeah, it has its ups and downs. I'd say.
Yeah. It's. I mean, even from talking like to James and
Right.
Ross, who kind of work in a different sector.
Sure. Yeah.
They definitely have the plus and minuses of
Yeah,
jobs.
for sure. Yeah.
So, well, I mean, how did you make the leap, like, just to Boston? Like, I mean, because you were working here at Mother's?
I was at Park Lane at that point.
Park Lane?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd kind of, like, gotten your chaps in?
Yeah, I was...
Or have built a resume,
I was doing...
I guess you could say?
I was doing good. I mean, I was writing all the menus and stuff at Park Lane. I was there with Dino and Joe Kennedy.
Okay.
And, Dino kind of pushed me, like, hey, man, you need to get the hell out of here a little bit, So... I actually tried to go to Napa Valley that year, and I ended up flying out a week after September 11th, and they're all like, get fucked, kid. Like, you're, this is a tourist town, and you're not getting a job. So, I mean, I dropped out 15 resumes out there, and I had like serious ins, like the woman who owns the olive oil company out there, like right behind Trevina, she took me around, and I still couldn't get it. So,
jeez.
My sister was living in Boston, so she had the kind of the inroad. So I stayed with her for a month, got settled, and then made the jump. So it made it a bit easier, yeah, for sure.
That's good
because it's a tough town.
I can only imagine. I went there like once when I was like maybe 15. I haven't gone back, but I mean, big cities like that. Yeah. It seems
for sure
like the lifespan of a new restaurant is like
absolutely. Yeah, there's a blog just dedicated to openings and closings, and like every day there's opening. It's nuts. I mean, a list of like 10. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, did you? When we were hanging out at your restaurant a couple weeks ago, having a couple drinks, and,
a couple,
and you're talking to I think Ed, who's the new chef at Mike A's,
right?
And you guys were kind of talking about how a lot of local guys kind of have to go away from the area to get their seasoning.
Right.
Like, do you think that was necessary for you to get to where you're at?
Absolutely. But this is back in, I think I moved there in 2002.
Yeah.
So,
Buffalo's
there was
restaurant scene wasn't.
Yeah, it's not even. I mean, it's come a long way just in the 2.5 years I've been back.
Yeah.
So it was then. It is kind of now, but Mike A's doing a lot of stuff and a lot of kids. He's a big name, so people want to work for him.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and he does it right. So you got James still here.
Yeah.
And myself, I can't employ too many people, so I don't know how it's going to work for us. But, there's definitely people doing good stuff here, and there's talent here now, and young people that, young chefs that these younger kids can kind of latch onto and follow for a while instead of, when I was coming up, it was a lot of older guys, and it's like, you know what I mean, how much further are you going to go? And these guys weren't being too progressive at that point.
Yeah.
So it was tough.
It does seem like we've had like a couple of these podcasts, and like I think the recurring theme is like literally Buffalo's restaurant scene in the last 3 years has like crazy changed.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's gotten legit. Like, and I mean, what James was telling me, like, it definitely seems like there's more of a mentoring vibe coming from like talented chefs. Like,
yeah, James and we kind of have the same philosophy on that, because I'll bring in kids just to show them how to butcher pigs or, lamb or veal or whatever, and, having a stage, like, I've had a couple of the park kids come down and work for me, and,
nice.
James he's pulling kids down left and right, so yeah, there is, people just want to build the scene, I think, and everybody's just really interested in making this a good place to be and stay for young people, which is great.
It'd be huge.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't think of it that way. You know what I mean? They just crush kids and they spit them out. So
yeah,
it's kind of good.
They're not thinking about
yeah,
helping out the
I think it's more
the greater good.
It's an investment in someone's life and building the whole scene, because if you can keep talent around, then everybody wins.
And it like steps up your game. If
Absolutely.
you see somebody's come down the street and do some crazy stuff, like
that's right. Yeah, it's good.
So you mentioned that you showed breaking down a pig.
Yep.
And I know one of your big passions is pig, as I've seen you wear several different pig-oriented shirts as you are right now.
Yep.
Where did that come up when you were working out in Boston, or like? I
didn't really learn much of that out there. I kind of was learning on my own, and then Bruce Wysela, who was my old sous chef, he got us into the whole Team Meadow thing, kind of.
Okay.
I met Rich a couple times, and we threw a snout-to-tail dinner with Carmelo and Bruce when Bruce was still at Stillwater.
Yeah.
And raised a bunch of money for Field and Fork Network, just so I could show Rich that I was serious about it. Because, like, he told me the first time he saw me, he's like, it'll be 8 months for a pig. After the snout-to-tail, he's like, let's talk. So... And then Bruce kind of showed me some stuff, and I learned on my own. So that's where it all kind of came from. So it's pretty recent.
How do you teach yourself? Like, because it's kind of like a skill,
right?
I mean, it's an art, like breaking down a pig and all that stuff.
I don't know. I guess it's kind of in my blood. My grandpa was a butcher and just old school Hungarian stuff. He had, he was making salamis and curing meat and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it's in there, but like you can look at books, and if you're just kind of feeling it out, I know how to break stuff down, and I've butchered things, but not like whole pig's a little complicated, especially when they're like 300 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, some serious pig too. Team Meadows.
Yeah, that's
pigs are
the one.
Yeah, they're like almost. I think they're nationally known.
It's the best pork I've seen. Yeah. Besides, like, I know I've seen some Ibericos and stuff like that, but we'll never get that here. Like, for this region, for what we have as terroir and all that stuff, and how close it is, it's the best pig around for sure. Yeah, yep.
So, what I was gonna touch, like, your sister runs Nickel City Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you guys being in the food industry, like, was there part of your childhood that was food centric that you both kind of came out this way, or?
We kind of had to sometimes cook because both my parents worked.
Okay.
So we had to cook to kind of survive a little bit.
Okay.
Not like we did it well, but, we always used to watch those Great Chefs shows, you know what I mean? I think those are on, like, PBS or whatever. So those, I don't know. And I would, like, intently watch them as, like, maniac 8-year-olds, you know what I mean? So I'm not really sure where it came from, because both my parents are in construction, so
really?
It didn't come from them.
They're not. Are they adventurous eaters? Or?
Yeah, okay. They like to eat, but
maybe that.
My dad especially. My dad. I guess he cooks, and he was a big hunter, so.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So, but like growing up as a kid, you weren't afraid to try something, or?
I was not that good of an eater until, I probably turned like 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I sucked until like 24. So.
Right. Well, it happens.
I was eating like chicken fingers pretty much like every week until unfortunately like 4 years ago. So
well, you had the epiphany. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter when it comes.
I know. I'm trying to spread the gospel. I'm trying to show people that if I can do it, they can too.
That's right. Awesome.
Yeah. So I guess speaking of turning eaters, I guess we'll touch on Bistro. But how did that? I knew Bistro Europa. I think in like 2009, I heard about it, but I don't think you were there yet.
No.
And so, how did you? I guess what made you want to come back to Buffalo?
Well, it was really all just a matter of opportunity and right place, right time. Because we were doing the private chef thing, and that was running out because the kids were going to school, so they were just, I wanted full-time year-round, and they didn't want to do that anymore. And Mike Pijanowski, who was the old owner of Europa, called me up, and, it was like, I was starting to freak out, to be honest. Like what the hell are we going to do? Because, I had friends in Boston that were ready to make a move and stuff, but it wasn't happening fast enough, so, we could have ended up there, but Mike called me right as, I was about to lose my mind and said, do you want to buy the bistro? And I said, sure.
Wow. So really, perfect timing.
Yeah. And we got married and, we moved from Nantucket to Boston and then Boston to Buffalo 3 days later, got married, went on our honeymoon. 2 days after we stepped off the plane, went in the restaurant and worked for 2 months for free just to make sure it didn't close.
Wow.
So yeah, we've just been going ever since.
That's insane.
Yeah, we're not sane people, that's for sure.
I feel like that's kind of the general thought about chefs and things like that.
Yeah, we like to get it done.
I mean, the restaurant's kind of it's smaller, I guess you could say. And when we went to have drinks the other night, Allie had never been there, and when she walked in, she's like, "Wow, this is really cute." But she's like, "I thought I had no idea it was so like intimate. Like it's a very." Do you enjoy that setting? I mean, do you enjoy having like I mean, you can like go out to the bar and see everyone eating.
Sure,
right there.
It's really cool because I like watching Americans get uncomfortable being so close to each other. Because I've been to Europe a couple times, and like you kind of get used to it. You're like jam packed in this little room that's the restaurant or the bar or whatever, and you're like right on top of people, and there's one bathroom and all that kind of stuff. So I like it because they are uncomfortable when they get there, but by the time the food starts coming and they've had a couple glasses of wine, like I've seen the whole dining room interacting with each other, like with the bar. Awesome. Like people are passing stuff around to each other or like making suggestions, and I'm out there running my mouth like an idiot, so it probably doesn't make matters any better, but it's kind of cool to see that whole dynamic happen, so it's cool like that for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's an awesome location too. Right. I mean that strip of Elmwood, I think, is definitely turned on in the last like year and a half.
Right, absolutely.
I mean with Nono now and Vera killing it down there.
Yep.
It seems good. I mean, you're in a...
Yeah, now Bruce is coming into the old Tuscany on Main.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I mean, Copa will be right there. So,
damn.
It's looking pretty good.
That plus the cheese shop, man.
Right.
That's all you need there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
I had, we went to the cheese shop just recently. We had the burrata there.
Man.
And that was...
Yeah, it's nice, huh?
That was so good.
Yeah, she does a good job.
Yeah.
Yep.
I heard that... Was it true your wife did the ricotta for that?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was awesome.
Yeah. We're getting good milk. It's good. Yeah.
So when I knew Bistro Europa when it first opened, it was kind of more of like a Eastern European type of thing, like a lot of like lumpki and things, or things like that.
Sure.
I mean, it seems like you're putting your own spin. You've changed it over completely.
Right.
I mean, our review is from 2009. It basically is invalid now.
Yeah. I mean, but
I mean, I know your goal of the restaurant, it seems like, is to try to encourage people to step out of their boundaries a little bit.
Sure.
It doesn't seem like there's necessarily like on your menu like the safe option, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Well, see, what happened was, I mean, in retrospect, I probably should have just ripped that sign down and named it something else, because where it was when we stepped in and what we thought we were going to do is not what it is now. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of evolved.
So what did you think initially when
we thought we were going to do all that stuff, like, and then we were like, nah, I kind of just want to do what we want to do. You know what I mean?
Like, you didn't have like a strong connection or passion.
Well, I mean, I'm Hungarian, and I kind of have some cultural background, and my wife's Ukrainian, and some, but like Americanized versions.
Yeah.
So it's not like deep. We know all that food and all that stuff. So like, I basically kept on my regular menu just really the stuff that was kind of Europa before we took it, and just revamped those dishes like paprikash and gołąbki and pierogi and potato pancakes and steak frites. So there is kind of a safe option. I always have chicken.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I didn't know how, because I mean, you when you told me, I mean, I read the gourmet article about you using lard with your with your bread, and I thought that was like genius. That you're basically like,
we force feed people lard. It's pretty cool. And they're like, oh, what the hell? And then they try and they're like, this is great. So, I mean, again, like expanding their horizon. Like,
do they know that it's?
Well, we say it's Bro di Chianti, which is basically what it's called. I mean, that's where we learned in this butcher shop in Chianti. So, I mean, we kind of throw them off a little bit. But you can kind of clearly see it's not butter. You know what I mean? So
that's so good.
I guess it's on them. Or at least I like to think that.
That's so great. Oh man, that's just the best idea I've ever heard. Like,
we have a lot of lard, so we got to figure out ways to utilize
you got the whole pig, right?
And those are fat pigs. They're fat. I'm not kidding. Like, the fat cap is massive on them.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Do you guys totally do you utilize the entire pig, basically?
Absolutely, yep.
I mean, plus, like, if you're dropping that much on a pig, you better get every...
Oh, yeah. They're not cheap. But, I mean, everything, the skin, all the guts, all that stuff, trouters, everything. Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. People like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you notice that your customers are getting more adventurous? Like,
absolutely.
I mean,
when I first changed the menu, when we bought it, and it was January 2010 technically, I just changed stuff a little bit, and people were going nuts. Like, where is this? Where's that? And I was like, I wasn't happy with the way it was. Like, this restaurant wasn't doing well, and we needed to do something about it.
Yeah.
And, you got to kind of earn the trust of your clientele. So I kind of played it safe for a little while, and then just slowly started dropping one here and there. And then all of a sudden, like, saw it was going. So, you get encouraged by all that stuff. So you just keep it going.
Yeah.
Now we're at a point where, we're kind of known for it. So,
yeah, you guys have definitely built up a reputation of
right.
being like the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys were... And I was part of this panel, but you were recently just voted number 2.
Yeah, number poo. We're turds. Number 2's perfect.
No, but I mean, the crazy thing about that, like, I was super excited because obviously, like, Hutch's and Tempo, they're all going to get their praise because they've been doing it for 40 years and stuff like that, and Oliver's, But I was pumped to see some new blood, like rise up there.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, have you noticed, like, I mean, you guys are pretty busy. I mean, you're pretty much like a reservations type of place now.
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely gotten busier since that, know, and it's just been a good year for us press wise.
Yeah, I mean, the gourmet things. I mean,
yeah, we just hit our stride, I think, as a restaurant, and we kind of figured out exactly kind of what we need to be doing at this point in time, because it's always evolving.
Yeah.
Every year you kind of change what you do a little bit. It's just, and we've finally gotten our sourcing down with our farmers and all that stuff, and we're kind of, we got a good, kind of a good run going right now, I think. So, it's, people are paying attention, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the foodie culture in Buffalo, I mean, for as annoying as saying people are foodies,
right?
It's a good thing. I mean, people are more interested in what they're eating. They want, different cuisines. They want higher quality ingredients and things like that.
Right.
I mean, it kind of seems like that's one of your, I guess maybe an ambassador for like more,
Well, yeah, because I think we talked about it that one night. Like, I was just so sick of people saying, you can't serve that in Buffalo. And my response was, have you tried?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people were like, just so discouraged by everything. And I'm like, well, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know that there's a lot of educated people out in Buffalo. Like, this isn't stupid people here,
Yeah. We're not losing our shit over a new Olive Garden.
Right, exactly. I mean, you see all the independent restaurants downtown. You know that people like to eat, and they don't like to eat crap. So
yeah.
I just figured it was time to go for it. And hopefully, people will be encouraged by all that. So
I mean, did you feel the gamble that was kind of trying to do something different like that?
It wasn't really a gamble because, like I said, we kind of worked up to it.
Oh, so
did
you just slowly incorporate?
Yeah, you throw like some duck tongues on this thing, or like some chicken feet. Like, we were doing fried chicken feet, and people, like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I put them out, and 10 pounds were gone the next day. Like, they were gone. People went nuts over chicken feet. So I was like, let's do this. You know what I mean? So it really wasn't that much of a gamble. It was kind of already like, people were kind of into it. And
I gotta say, I've tried chicken feet, and I can't do it. I don't know. Right. I don't know what it is.
It's weird.
I want to. Like, in my head, I'm like, I want to eat this. I want to try it.
Where did you try it?
I tried it at a dim sum place in New York City.
Okay.
Like in
so
Chinatown.
They were probably legit then.
Yeah.
They were legit.
Yeah. And like literally we were sitting at a table with like other Chinese people, and they basically were just picking our food for us.
Right.
So I was like, all right, fine, yeah.
No, that's good. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah, but I don't know why it was all bones. It didn't seem like there's a lot of meat.
There's a lot of flavor. That's the thing, is I just like suck on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, there's a lot of cartilage and stuff. I can see why people wouldn't be turned on by it. But again, like that was like when you're serving something like that and it's flying out the door, you get kind of encouraged because it's not like, you know, that's not novice stuff at all. Like people, if they like food, they eat chicken feet, you know, or whatever. I'm not saying, you know,
no,
you know what I'm saying.
I mean, have you gotten to a point now where your customers like expect like crazy stuff coming from you? Like,
I'm not sure. You know,
no?
I like all of our food is solid, so I don't really feel the need. I always feel the need to do what I do. It's not like I'm trying to reinvent anything or do anything weird. Like it's kind of natural to me to just do, you know, because we change our specials all the time, so it's always a very dynamic thing. So it's really what's available that day or what you got in your head. Awesome. You know, yeah. That's you know, because there's times we'll change 5 specials in one day.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I mean, it's hell on wheels, but somehow we make it happen. You know,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, in how much? I mean, probably the majority of your menu is local too, right?
Yeah.
I know you're very big into locally sourcing your.
Yeah, we try as much as we can. You know, there's obviously some things you can't, because we're also in the business of being in business. So, you know, you can't always, you know, hopefully in 5 years when, you know, we're a little bigger or whatever, we can do everything. You know, and everybody's, because there's still some gaps in sourcing and things you can't find. And, you know, some of the costs are prohibitive to trying to make money, so you know, but we push it pretty hard, you know. Most of our stuff, especially in the summertime, it's just why wouldn't you? Like you can't ever make a bad carrot taste good, you know what I mean? So you should probably just find a good carrot, you know?
I like that way of thinking.
Right.
That's awesome. Your wife also is a co-owner, and she also from I knew that she makes desserts. I'm sure she has a bigger.
She also does bread. Okay. Yeah, and she's like the unsung hero. Honest to God, I mean.
Well, you told me how excited you were when Mike was talking about her.
Yeah, I get really pumped when people just come in and say, "Oh, I just want dessert." I'm like, "Honey, they're just here for dessert. Like they're here to see you," you know, because she doesn't get enough of the glory of the praise like she should, because she really is. She's the engine behind the whole thing, you
That's
know.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm like the dreamer, and she's grounded and smart. And
do you come to her with some idea you have, and she's like, "All right, let's calm down"?
Well, no, it's she comes to me sometimes too, and she's like, "Let's do this," like, you know what I mean? Because she's a real creative person as well.
Yeah.
So, I think our last idea was inspired at the movies, and it was the pretzel bites. So we're gonna do like bologna inside a pretzel bite with like cloth-bound cheddar fonduta, like, and we figured this out on the way from the movies to my house on Linwood. So we had the whole dish hammered out by the time we got home.
That's awesome.
Like, let's make a bologna and stuff it in there. Okay, all right. How about this? Oh, it's funny. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's good to have somebody like that in your life when you're trying to do this. You know,
especially when you guys are so passionate about it together.
Yeah, so you got to kind of have the same love. You know, if you're going to continue to do this, because things get heated when you're working 16 hours a day with your wife. You know, things kind of pop sometimes.
And the kitchen's a relatively small area.
Right, and high pressure. So, you know, it's good that we share a lot of the same loves.
Yeah.
You know, she loves what I do, and I love what she does. So, you know, it's good.
Did you meet her in the restaurant world?
I actually hired her in Boston. Yes, total scumbag. But she was 21, you know, and I was 26. So she had just come from BU. She graduated with a degree in elementary education, and then just wanted to cook. And she came and staged at the restaurant. Yeah. Which I was like, that was the dumbest thing you ever did.
The pension and the...
Right. Like, all the stuff that normal people do is now gone for you, you know? Like, we're going to bring you into our dark world. So, yeah, I mean, she started like on pastry there, and the pastry chef we had was really talented and taught her a lot of stuff. And, you know, I got her into a couple bakeries, and, you know, she actually staged at Tomcat down in New York City, which supplies most of New York City with their bread, because of Eric Repair and Francois Payard, because they came out and cooked with us and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, we'll get you a stage." So she got to throw down, and, you know, Eric Repair made the phone call and said, "Hey, this girl's coming down." Like, that's pretty badass, you know.
That's really badass.
But she goes for it too. Like, she was like, "Yeah, I'm doing it. Let's do it." You know, it's great.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I mean, I mean, was it pretty much a given that she'd be doing all the baking and
yeah. And I mean, she's just way smarter than me, so she does the numbers, and I'm
like all the business stuff?
Oh yeah, because I suck at that. I don't have patience for it. Like, I failed math, and she's just smart. I'm not. Me smash meat in pan.
That's great. I mean, we talked about how you have that intimate setting. Do you see a potential for you to start wanting to expand or
Absolutely.
to?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Do you already see it now, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
we could use a full bar and like 10 more seats. And
yeah.
we'd be styling. Because there's nights where literally I'll turn away. There was one night it was like 30 people, man.
Jeez.
Like on a Friday, and that shit kills you.
Oh yeah.
As an owner, like, I just wanted to eat a bullet. Like, I was like, oh my god, like, look at all that money that was ready to just come in. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like my parents' generation, they want to have a drink and then dinner.
Yeah.
So then, you can't do that. And we talked about carrying booze and, looked at it 3,000 different ways, and it just wasn't a thing we need to do there because we're trying to sell food. We're doing it the hard way, basically.
So what do you mean by that? Like, just not having an extensive bar? Or?
Well, just, I mean, liquor is very lucrative in the restaurant industry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So having that to fall back on your food costs and all that stuff, like, it's just good as business, trying to sell just food and beer and wine is tough because, your margins are razor thin.
Oh, I see.
Yep. So, that's why.
I mean, is that something you have even started considering, or is that
like I said, we looked at it 3,000 ways in that space, and there's.
I meant like outside of that space, or.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's always options. It's Buffalo. That's part of the reason we moved here. It's just kind of easier here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of empty spaces.
Yeah.
And opportunity. So, yeah.
So
sure,
maybe down the road it's a potential. But...
Yeah, I mean, you never want to stop growing.
Yeah,
that's.
Well, I mean, some people like to have a set business side. I don't know. I mean, I didn't know if like you enjoyed having that smaller space, or if you wouldn't mind having the big.
I'm not saying big. Little bigger, a little bit, not much.
No,
because then we couldn't. It would kind of ruin the whole thing.
Yeah,
what we do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're kind of like. I mean, people can kind of. You're in the kitchen right there. I mean, you've kind of become a personality of the restaurant.
That's the only soundproof curtain on the planet. You didn't know that?
No.
Nobody can hear what I say. Oh man, I get yelled at a lot for that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh sure.
Well, I mean, I watched your video on when you did the Nickel City Chef.
Yeah.
And I mean, it seems like. It would be kind of entertaining to watch him back in the kitchen. It
can be funny.
If everything's going right. Maybe.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're pretty laid back. I mean, obviously we're serious about what we do, but why are you going to work if you're not having fun?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And why you run a restaurant if you don't love it? Because you're going to get buried real soon if you don't. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll break out in songs sometimes, or we'll have some stupid name that we call some dish, and we'll call it out like idiots every time we put it out, so the whole dining room can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll turn the beat around. We will turn the beat around.
That's so
and then you might get the whole bar singing along with you. So, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, people love that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I like people, and if they're having a good time and enjoying what we do, that's kind of the gratification you get as a cook, is like you can turn somebody's bad day around quick, and there's not many things you can do in your life that have that much power.
No,
So it's really cool to see that in somebody's face, and you kind of feed off that. You know what I mean? So I get really excited when I see people having a good time. That's I turn the beat around.
When you like bring in staff, do you have to make sure that they're ready for the?
Oh yeah, no, there's a screening process. Yeah, our current sous chef, like, he staged a couple times, and I was just like, the stuff that was coming out of his mouth, I'm like, you're gonna be perfect. And there's other people that I'm like, oh man, like, this guy didn't even talk. Like, he's done. No way. You're not Europa material. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a place for you somewhere, but it's not here.
Yeah. Maybe somewhere a little bit more quieter.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's awesome. I mean, do you have Do you have any ambitions, I guess, this year even? Or things that you want to see the restaurant start to do more of or anything like that?
I think
like going forward?
Yeah, I think we're going to do the foraging thing because that's starting to...
That's big right now.
That's big right now. And, I mean, I've kind of been onto that a little bit for years, you know, but not to the extent I want to because I'm learning more about it. And, you know, there's just so much stuff you can't get any other way. So I
mean, like ramps is like It's like now this huge thing,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think I saw pictures of you and James like foraging for them.
Oh yeah,
and some wooden area.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, we went for fiddleheads too last year. Those are like the two big ones. Like the mushrooms, those are scary. So I'm gonna stay away from that.
A lot could go wrong.
Yeah, quickly. Then. Yeah, I don't...
You don't want to know for having that fun of a kitchen.
No. That's right. That's right.
It was the best meal I ever had. And then the walls melted.
Yeah, and then I puked on myself. It was awesome. What a night. I love Europa. Yeah, so there's just, and I like to play with new stuff a lot. You know what I mean? That's why I constantly change my menu because... I go on these, I'd say like benders about like an ingredient for like a month. I'll just hammer the hell out of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm just like smitten by stuff. Because then I'll find something new and I'll be like, oh my God, like a freaking puppy. And then there's a lot of stuff out there that I don't know about. So it intrigues me a lot.
Well, what do you like? What inspires you? Like, are you just like always reading about food? Like, is it pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much. You just gotta pay attention and like the smallest things like pretzel bites at the movie could inspire you. You never know when it's gonna come. It's just kind of like,
Does that happen often with you and your wife? Like just something stupid?
Yeah, it's always something. It's always something stupid. What the hell did we do? Oh my God. Chicken fried bacon, there was that one, and then I made Salisbury steak. Like, we did this, like, white trash dinner at my house, and I made Salisbury steak, like, from scratch. It's like, what the hell am I doing, man? Hot dog sliders, white trash sushi.
What's white trash sushi?
It's Wonder Bread with pimento cheese rolled around a pickle.
That's great.
Yeah.
That was just for you, though. Was that didn't make it to Bistro?
No, that was just at our house. Yeah,
that might be a good bar snack for people waiting.
God, I would get murdered by the foodies. What the hell is he trying to do now? What is this crap?
I don't get it.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, yeah. I mean that should be cool. I mean, is Buffalo a good foraging area?
Absolutely.
Area?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably got to go obviously out to the burbs.
Sure,
like
but you don't have to go far to get in the woods here.
True.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like you're not in a big city, so it doesn't take you long. 20 minutes, you're in the woods.
Chestnut
Ridge.
Yeah.
There you go. Boom.
Our backyard, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much every fight I got in high school was at Chestnut Ridge. Shelter Y. Got my face punched in a couple times.
That's great.
Yep. Good times.
I've gotten a lot of parking tickets when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Trying to get in there after they closed. And
right.
The whole Eternal Flame.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we used to go down there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was our spot, actually. It was our party spot because the cops couldn't get back there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or they just were too lazy to.
Right. Well, there was that, too. Yep.
I guess I think that wraps it up.
All right, man.
Steve.
Yep.
I really appreciate you coming down here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm super stoked about what you guys are doing at the bistro.
Thank you very much.
Long overdue for a revisit on this site.
Velvet Hammer, baby.
So I plan on going back very soon. So
great, awesome.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, man.